All right, so let's get rolling. Today's agenda is real simple. My area is on fire, and I don't know what to do. How to begin the process of creating an area inventory with no experience. What to look for, how to create inventory questions, and where to go from here. We'll be using a large group open forum for brainstorming, and then we'll break out into small groups to refine our questions. So this topic came up based on my own experience serving within my region. One of our RCMs came to fellowship development for about a year, and she continuously asked for help from fellowship development. And the response that she was given from the committee was, "What can we help you with?" Her answer was always the same: "I don't know." H&I commitments weren't being filled. They had multiple open positions at the area, including public relations. A lot of the groups weren't showing up to the area meetings. The groups themselves sometimes were using mixed literature, sharing literature acts with other fellowships. They're sharing a mixed message. Like every possible thing that could go wrong in Narcotics Anonymous service was happening in this one area. So it was really hard to pin down what exactly was going wrong. The end result of this, after about a year and a half, the area folded. It was absorbed into two different other areas. So the inspiration for this is that we want to be able to give tools to people to identify what's going wrong and how to fix that. So why do we plan? These two quotes come directly out of planning basics. Quite simply, planning makes our services more effective. It helps us work towards a common goal. Planning for any services asks us to think ahead, take time to prepare, and develop action plans to reach the identified goals. That's easier said than done when you don't know what the problem is. We can identify these things that are not working to fulfill their full potential. We can also see the need to perform an inventory. Many areas do not practice a formal form of planning. As a result, many don't have experience building an area inventory. So let's assume, just for today, that we have never been part of a planning process. Where do we start? We know things aren't working well, but we can't exactly say what is going wrong when it seems like everything is falling apart. So today we've created an area. This is the Sobah Cobra area of NA. This area consists of 50 groups. The average attendance at the ASC is about 15. The ASC goes on for more than 3 hours. There are multiple open positions, and the minutes get emailed to more than 300 people. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a mock area with the group concerns and then open forum. Group concerns will be limited to our volunteer GSRs. Open forum will be open to everyone that's attending this meeting. So today's agenda for our fake area will be led by Mike. Mike will be our area chairperson. I'll be the vice chair, and then we have a handful of GSRs. So this is today's agenda. Mike, if you would walk us through this.
So it seems pretty basic. It's, average business meeting. I think we've all attended. Meeting to open, moment of silence. Vote on the minutes. If you'd like I forgot about that weird email address there. The roll call, again, as Chris said, we have 50 groups roughly in the Sobah Cobra area, and only about 15 show up. So yeah, I guess we're, unless I'm wrong, we're on to group concerns. Does that sound about right?
That's right.
All right.
So we're going to start with the group concerns from our GSRs that are present. Does anyone have any group concerns?
Yeah, unmute? I do. I don't know how to unmute. Can I just raise my hand like this?
Wait,
you're unmuted
now. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Go?
Hi.
Let me go first.
How you doing?
Hi, I'm Delana. I'm the GSR for my home group. It's called the Best Group in NA. And we have a concern. We're concerned about the results of, or if there was ever even a result of that 45-minute long conversation we had last area. I know we talked about it over and over about that tradition violation with PR, but I wasn't sure if we ever got an answer. So is it a tradition violation to post billboards or not? Because we think that's promotion. And our GSR was new last month, and he didn't have any training or any like sort of help with that. So he didn't know how to vote, and there was no one that could teach him. So we just wanted to bring this back up again for a third month to talk about this again. And we also wanted to know why everybody that's asked to serve looks so miserable. Like, you know, we ask people to take these positions, but they're like forced into it. You know, it's like, I don't really want to, you know. So it's like, why are always the same people doing the same jobs? And there's never any new members. And when we get new people, we throw them into positions that they don't actually even want. So, and now that's happening because it's happening at area, it's happening at my home group. Nobody wants to step up. And we've had the same 3 people rotating the same 3 positions. And we don't know why we're not attractive to the newcomer. So we want area to help us with that. Sir, chair person.
You want area to help with the group concern?
Yes.
So
Yep.
I'm going, oh, okay. I'm just trying to make sure I understand what's going on. So
Yeah, we need help.
Okay. If everyone's all right with it, what we could do is get the group concerns together, and we're going to try to address as many of them as we can at once. But I mean, we've been here for what, 2-3 hours now. I think we're kind of all getting ready to go.
Yeah, I actually have some though. Can I go?
Okay. Michaela, go ahead.
Thanks. I'm Michaela. I'm an addict and an alcoholic. I'm from the Hose Before Bros group of NA. And we had some questions and concerns. So my question, or our group's question, I guess, is why can the president of NA or the chair or whatever you call him decide when area meets without letting everyone know? And then another thing is, why are you guys only meeting in person? Why don't we have a virtual option for people who want to attend virtually? And what are we supposed to do when no one will send us minutes if we don't attend in person? We all agreed in an email to have a virtual option, but the leaders or the president or whatever you guys said he was called said we have to vote. Can't we just have an agreement? Also, we have someone who wants to celebrate at my group and they want to do commitments, but they're on Suboxone. What are we supposed to tell them? Because the treatment facility that they went to and one of the places where we do commitments supports this thing like all pathways to recovery. And they say they're clean when people say they are. So they said we can't come back unless we support that too. So basically, we need some support from the area, but the area president or whatever he was called said other people in charge of the area don't want to come because they say area doesn't govern. So who can help us?
And it sounds like there's a lot of fourth tradition, lack of understanding going on.
I don't know what a tradition is, but my group has a lot of concerns too. So
Okay.
Can I just?
Yeah, this is just turning into a gripe session. So
I'm sorry. Is there something wrong with what I just said?
no. Go ahead.
Like, I guess you can mute me. I've been muted before in area, but whatever. Okay, so I'm an addict. My name is Lauren Rose, and my group is called Lauren Rose's Virtual Narcotics Anonymous meeting group. And we have a lot of concerns. So first and foremost, we don't understand anything that's going on. You guys use this language, you know, NEZFASCRD, RCM, and it's like you guys have this secret little code, and like we just don't know what's going on. And you know, people in the area throw these around, but no one takes time to explain it. So you know, we're not part of the secret language. And then also the people that like know how to use this secret language always get these positions. And so like no one in my group wants to step up because people aren't part of this like clique of people getting these positions. And then the people that get positions, they don't get trained. So I feel like they don't know what's going on. And then when they get frustrated, it's just a mess. So anyway, I just don't know, you know, we don't know why you guys are electing people. And, you know, they're not getting trained. So anyway, also like just another thing, I don't really know anything about public relations, but I heard that it has something to do with like the public image of NA. But like in our area, our chair of PR is like holding a bunch of guns in his profile picture. And like, I easily looked him up. And then also I went on a PR presentation and the guy I was presenting with was wearing a Blue Lives Matter shirt. And I don't know, I just feel like maybe he shouldn't be presenting to the public while wearing that, because like, does Narcotics Anonymous support that? So that was weird. Anyway, last thing is just about the newcomers. And I know Michaela kind of mentioned this, but like, number one, a lot of newcomers in our group are saying sober and alcoholic, and like people are getting really upset and like rolling their eyes and yelling at them in the meeting. But it's clearly a violation of traditions to say sober, like violation, because we violate our traditions. Anyway, and then the same thing as Michaela said, like I have a bunch of sponsees that want to celebrate their clean time on MAT and DRT. And like, I want to let them, but then my group is yelling at me. So like, area, can you please help me? I need your help. Direct me. Thank you. Attic name Lauren Rose. Thanks.
Oh, thanks for the outro.
So my group has one more, actually, if I can
Okay.
just go ahead. So my home group, Recovery Through Medical Assistance, has several concerns about communications within our area. We've been told we contact subcommittee chairs via the email addresses provided via Google Suites, and we have sent several emails to our elected H&I chair email address and have not received a response. When the issue was approached last month at the area meeting, the H&I chair told us they don't even check that address. They just use their personal email. So we as a group are confused as to what is the point of having an email address if it's not used for communications. In the same vein, we have noticed that clean time is waived consistently when electing trusted servants. We have asked what the point of having a clean time requirement is if we are not going to adhere to current existing policy. Now, at our home group, one member has suggested that we get rid of the clean time requirements for our treasurer because they were present at an area meeting where the clean time requirement was waived for the treasurer position. We have also asked on several occasions who is responsible for filling a rack a member has seen at the local library that is constantly empty. We have been repeatedly told that no one knows who put it there and whose responsibility it is to fill it. It seems we have a serious breakdown in the communication here. That is all my group has.
So it sounds like we got a lot of issues going on. Some of these are pretty similar to stuff that's been going on in the past. Chris, I should have asked beforehand, but did you take notes on any of that so we can come back and touch base on some of these issues?
Oh yeah, we're building an essay right now.
My name's Sammy, and my group has a concern too.
Okay, Sammy.
I'm here representing the Future of NA group. We have a concern about a member in our area that took it upon himself to host a wet t-shirt contest at a strip club. Our group doesn't think this looks good for the fellowship, and we are worried about the image we are portraying in our community when an event like this gets advertised. Apparently, the event was attended by members of the community, but we didn't get a group conscious, and he just put out flyers for this event and started posting it on social media. How can we stop things like this from happening in the future? We don't even think that it's right to hold we don't think it's right to even hold events like this while our activities are struggling to get people to attend their events. How do we get more people to come to NA events but stop random members from hosting their own events? Another thing we noticed is in our area, everyone who's doing service is in the same sponsorship family. It feels so cliquey, and I have heard from other members that they don't want to get involved because of it. What can we do to have more people involved in doing service in our events in what looks like we want to have shit that looks inclusive. How do we do that? We just need help. We need clarification.
Well, unless I'm wrong, that's one of the positions we have open is activities and events, and we're always looking for ideas. So Chris, where do you want to start with all of this? It sounds like we get most of the concerns.
I feel like there's a lot going on here, but it's all kind of like related to the same like topics, like communication, training, mentorship, like unity and participation. Public awareness seems to be a big one at the club.
Yeah.
Why don't we move past group concerns and go to open forum and see if there's anyone else present that has had similar issues like this?
For hands.
If anyone would like to voice a concern that their group may have had in the past, please just raise your hand in the participants list and you'll be asked to share your concerns. None of them.
Yeah, we were hoping to get some participation.
Well, let's go over what we have so far. So I tried to group these best I could, and for communication, it seems like the trusted servants have access to Google Suites, but they're using a personal email address instead. So what can we do about that? Why can't we have a real-time balance in the treasury? Subcommittee chairs use language and letters instead of words, like NEZF, FYI, as you see in the chat right there. What do they mean? What's this alphabet soup? We don't know. Last month's ASC, we talked about the same topic over and over again, and there was something. Is there something we can do to like speed that up and streamline? The GSRs voted without consulting the group. Like, what is it? What is it to carry like a group conscience? How do you do that? And public awareness, PR work seems to be promoting NA, and doesn't that violate traditions? Like, are we allowed to promote this thing? Like, I don't understand. One of the members talked about a wet t-shirt contest to promote NA at a strip club. I mean, that seems kind of a soggy situation to get into. The library, the literature racks not being filled, home group announcements, facilities are asking to collaborate with home groups for Christmas events. Like, is that okay? Like, you're talking about violating traditions. Is that like a violation too? Do we have a red card for that? The PR chair was wearing a Blue Lives Matter and has guns in his Facebook photo. Like, is this acceptable? I don't know. And training and mentorship, what I got from that was there's a lot of open positions right now. Why aren't we doing anything to try to fill these, like bring awareness about them? Go ahead, Sam. You can jump in.
Addict named Sam. So I'm loving this, by the way. Our home group, I'm a GSR here in Eastern Shore, Maryland. And it's been a struggle. We have stuff like during Christmas, our special events chair, who is more of a facility personnel for a rehab rather than an NA member, who somehow got voted in, decided to throw a event with a Christmas thing, down on the ocean, on the beach. And it clearly violated traditions, and I was muted over Zoom because they don't like what I say. Sorry, guys, dogs. Which is a common thing, which we had to fight to even get to Zoom, because according to my area, NA doesn't belong on Zoom. Even though our region was meeting on Zoom, which was voted upon months before, but they didn't know because our old RCM never brought anything back to area. And it's a lot of wrapped up of like constantly breaking traditions, concepts, and me and my group will write up motions and we'll explain why. We're going off a policy that is from 2015 that has not been updated because our vice chair, because at some point our area decided we were getting rid of policy committee, and it was now sent to our vice chair is supposed to keep it updated with approval of the group. And now they're saying things that they're saying things are policy that aren't actually in our policy. They can't bring up the motions that support what they're trying to say. And so it falls back onto, the policy that we have that the group's already approved of, because nothing's been submitted. And there's a lot of hunky thing. Like to be honest, our vice chair is kind of the neck of our chair, who doesn't call anything out of order. So it's a lot of power play, a lot of violations of tradition. It's a lot of we go there to hang out and be seen. And there's another home group GSR that's very vocal, like I am, And we kind of get thrown to the side. Like we say, like I say, I'm an addict named Sam, and instantly everything changes, and it's a laugh and oh God, here we go again. And it's been a struggle to not walk away from my position due to the bullshit, plain and simple. And I make sure I check my motives every time we go, and I have, it's all consensus of the group. And I'm very big at, of getting someone shadowy, and I'm trying to, help, because I've been GSR for almost 3 years now. So it's just a lot of the concerns that I brought up, and I like the little mock thing, but it's a trying thing, and our area is completely out of control. And the few of us that want to step up and do stuff are kind of kicked to the side. So that's what we got. Thanks.
Thanks for sharing. Anyone else with any concerns?
Right now, we're hearing a lot about communication, training, and mentorship issues, participation issues. I haven't heard anything about like fund flow. So I guess we're doing good with the money. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
When are we getting our t-shirts made, by the way? I don't think we talked.
I thought you sent the order out.
Well, I took the money. I just didn't do anything with it.
I'll put a motion. We want a $7,000 budget.
All right.
Second that motion, just to go to Christina's personal account, and then she can. I trust.
Right. The check can be made out to me in my name.
I trust her. I
Okay,
second.
cool.
I'd like to submit a motion to remove
Edwin?
the vice chair, please.
Hang on, pause, guys.
Motion.
I'm gonna wait until after the motions.
I want to remove the chairperson too, because I don't like his attitude. So if there's a second, we can just go ahead and do that right now.
Second.
Please.
Well, this is still open forum, so we're gonna let Edwin go.
Hi,
Go ahead.
guys. Sorry. So Edwin, newcomer, addict. I hope I'm not stepping over boundaries here. I'm so happy to be here and to be a part of this, because I'm really I'm just hoping in the future I'll be in these events more often. I just wanted to say that I second or I think it's a good idea if these meetings at times can be held on Zoom, so that people from other states could join and could help NA as a total.
So to clarify, you're asking if our ASC meetings or the group meetings, or just in general, should just stay on Zoom full time?
ASA.
All right. Does anyone else have any concerns that they'd like to express with us? Sam, go ahead.
Sam.
I'm an addict. My name's Barry.
Hey, Barry.
A lot of what was asked is, I put in the chat, take your group to a structured group that knows these things. The whole, everyone in their group conscious have been through a lot of this that you're asking. I think you could get your answers a lot closer to home than what, I don't know, maybe this is what this is for, but this is a H&I workshop, right?
No, this is fellowship development.
Fellowship development. Oh man, I don't know about that.
That's a good point, man. A lot of people don't know what fellowship development is. We're going to go on to Frank G. And right before we unmute you, Frank, just to remind everyone, the purpose of this workshop is, where do we start? Like if your area or any area is going through a lot of problems and you're having a hard time identifying exactly what's going wrong, that's the purpose of this workshop. So we created a fake area. We have some fake GSRs. We did a mock presentation about group concerns. They voiced their group concerns. And now we're asking the rest of you, if you have any concerns that you heard at your own areas or other other service bodies you've attended to share them with us. Because what we're going to do after this is go into small groups and start developing inventory questions so that we can start working towards a solution to deal with these problems. Go ahead, Frank.
All right, addict named Frank. Thank you all for putting this together. It's a great simulation. Some of the concerns that I've seen at our area in the past, and one in particular really had me worried, was that there was a group that used to meet at a church in, about 10 miles away from another group. And then they got kicked out of that church. And so they found another meeting at the exact same time across the street from an existing group, which ended up pulling all the membership from that group into another group and then forced the other group to fold. And I always had a problem with that because I thought that, every group is autonomous except when affecting other groups or NA as a whole. And in this case, one group decided to put a meeting at the exact same time in the exact same location as an existing meeting. Rather than try to attend the existing meeting, they just started their own group, which I've seen that happen a lot. A lot of groups just open up because of resentments. At the area level, I always see that the same 8 people, and I am one of those 8, so I'm just as much a contributor to the problem, are the ones that are doing all the service work, And when things come up at area, especially when people give reports, I always notice that when somebody gives a report, somebody always has to come up like, are there any questions about so-and-so's report? And they say, oh, point of information. And they add more information. That's not a point of information. A point of information is supposed to be a question. Okay, but apparently nobody seems to get that, and they always feel like it's important for me to share more information than what the person who we trusted to give us that information is giving us, which is really not, it's kind of condescending. And then they get into an argument because, oh no, I heard it differently, and I heard it this way, and I heard it the other. It's been 3 hours now. We've been at area service. They're still arguing. Meanwhile, all the GSRs have just left because they didn't get a chance to say anything. Right? The newcomers feel like they're intimidated to say anything because they see all these old timers with all this knowledge and wisdom sharing over them so that they never get a chance to be heard. And I think that's why we lose a lot of our fresh blood. A lot of the people who want to do service don't get a chance to do service because they feel like if I do service, I'm going to get criticized. Oh no, we did it better when we did it, so don't do it that way. So we really discourage people from actually coming up with new ideas. Especially I look to young people. I see a lot of young people on here too. And I'm like, I look to you all to give new ideas to us old timers who are stuck in the old ways of doing things. If we were still doing it the old way, we wouldn't be as big a fellowship as we are today. I think it's been about inclusiveness, and I think we lose that a lot. One other thing, and this will be the last one I will bring up, is conventions. I love conventions. I love going to conventions. What I have problems with is when an entire area, their only focus, the entire area service is about how do we fund the next year's convention? What are we going to do for the convention? The entire meeting seems to be revolving around the convention. I thought that the areas were supposed to serve the groups, not serve themselves in making more money. And that's what a convention is for, is to make more money. So I don't follow that. I think sometimes we get our priorities a little mixed up. So anyway, I thought I'd add to the gripe session. Thanks for letting me share.
Thanks for sharing. Bobby B.
I'm Bobby. I'm an addict.
Hey, Bobby.
I am thoroughly enjoying this area meeting here. What comes to mind to me is everybody's touched on like a lot of similar issues that obviously we all have. So that's been good for me to hear that everybody everywhere hears the same old shit. So for me, when I first got here and they tried to put me into service, because it's not something that I willingly wanted to do, everyone who was in it was fucking pissed and always bitching, moaning, and crying about it. It was not attractive to me at all. I'd rather just show up to meetings and be as least involved as possible because life is hard enough without that bullshit. So I got over that and I went to my first area meeting. And I remember sitting down next to a predecessor who had tons of clean time and he had been doing this for years. So I'm like, okay, I'm a student. I'm going to learn. I'm going to sit in the front row. I'm going to, find out what's going on. So I started asking him questions and he just totally dismissed me and said, you don't need to worry about that right now. Just sit there and listen. So I didn't go back. I didn't go back for like 3 or 4 months. And then later on in my recovery, I became GSR for my home group, and it was required that I go. So I've been going, and the current situation right now is we have not had a treasurer for 6 months. The money is all over the place. Nobody knows how much money we have. They're not making it a priority. So I really don't want to say anything, because then they'll say, well, you do it. And I don't want to do it, but I do think somebody needs to do it, and nobody's doing it. And I'm not going to just like try to reinvent the wheel or fix every position in area, but I'm one of those vocal people too. It's like, da 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 da, where's the solution? Okay, here we are. This is our 3rd meeting, and we still don't have a treasurer, and I'm going to region, and we have a donation, but we don't know how fucking much. I just feel like an idiot every time. So that's all I got. That's what's going on in my area right now.
Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you. So I'm seeing some more hands up, but I know we got to get moving on with the presentation. So Chris, what do you want to do here?
Chris, you're muted.
You're muted, Chris.
Yep.
That's part of the problem with the area, man. You guys don't let me speak. You know, we're going to give Rachel and Grateful Dave a chance just to get through their stuff, and we'll do that quick, and then we're going to go into small breakout rooms.
Sounds good. So Rachel?
And I'll be real quick about it. I got voted in to an alternate GSR position. I was very new. I don't even at that point even know who Jimmy K is, and I have very little idea of what Narcotics Anonymous is. I just know I want to stay clean, and I want to give back to the group that I got clean at. And there was an adjacent Alano club. And there was some question, I guess, in regard to my mental health as I was getting voted in. And I copped a feeling over it. And I said something later on, at, about a month down the road about it. And it got into almost a brawl out front of this Solano club. And I was forcefully removed. My dog and I had a little dog off the property, and I was told by the president of that Alano club that I could not be of service to that group and that I was not allowed back on the property. I was so heartbroken. I almost relapsed over it, but I didn't know what to do. I'm new. I don't have much support. I'm at that point, I was like almost a dying addict, getting ready to just, die. And so anyway, I didn't know what to do. So I got my basic text and I opened it up, and there was a number on there, and I thought, man, this just doesn't seem fair. So I called the World Service office trying to find some questions. And I don't know about anybody else, but where I come from, you don't ask questions. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to become a GSR, like the lady previous. Like, I want to know some stuff, this is stuff that's keeping the addicts alive. I want to know more about it. So I started asking questions. I got voted in. A year later, here recently, we have a live meeting, not too many, but it seemed like a pretty decent group. Like they take an account of group conscience, and they sincerely want to keep addicts alive. And so I got involved with that, and I became a GSR. And then with the pandemic, there's a lot of people saying, you need to just stay at home, and it's not safe. And, we go to these live meetings, everybody wants to hug each other, and that came into play. And then I got a phone call last week. I'm sorry, but the alternate GSR stepped up, and we thought about this, and you really don't have the equipment to be able to be a GSR, because you really need to be able to have a computer to be able to take notes and be adequate at that job. And so I just, I chalked it up and said, okay, but there was some question in regard to, well, if anybody wants to be of service, despite of the fact that, they have a cheapy phone and they don't have a computer and this and that, it just doesn't seem fair. Anyways, I'm just, I'm learning, and I was on a meditative in Detroit meditation meeting with some predecessors who invited me to this group. And I just thought I would tell you my experience on this. I'm a newcomer. I guess I am the new lifeblood, and I want to stay alive, and I'd like to be of service to Narcotics Anonymous in my gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you. I saw Grateful Dave, and then we're going to go into the breakout rooms. I just think it was great.
Yeah, I'm Dave. I'm a grateful recovering addict. My home group is Conscious Contact in Cheyenne, Wyoming, Nebraska area, Upper Rocky Mountain region, and Narcotics Anonymous, the Rocky Mountain Zonal. So I'm gonna kind of create a problem and a solution here. So this probably belongs in the sharing, the small group breakout, but So when we're following the area agenda, a lot of people don't know where things belong, sharing sessions, old business, new business, and so that's what I'm doing is I feel like this belongs in the small breakout groups. But one of the ways we have overcome attractiveness in service in our area, in our region, and we've done a really phenomenal job over the last couple of years at doing that, is by not only practicing spiritual principles, right? Spiritual principles, when followed, we can't go against ourselves, but we create road trips to areas and region, meetings. We fellowship, we get to know each other, and nobody's really throwing chairs, man. Nobody's shouting at each other. Nobody's cussing at each other, every once in a while, but nothing real serious. COVID has definitely created some problems with retaining service members and being attractive in the area and region service, in region and area service. We've had some people drop out because they're just they don't want to follow via Zoom. But up until COVID, we had a really, really strong service body, and we did that by fellowship and by practicing our spiritual principles and talking nicely about what service looks like and how fun the road trips were. And it always led to a conducive environment. In fact, I was able to speak last year today in Chicago at the Chicagoland Regional Convention about this topic to a group of 300 people, and people pull me aside and ask me later to do a small impromptu workshop with them on how we've gotten our area so on point. And so it's doable, man. It's all in our attitudes and how we practice spiritual principles and how we fellowship, and the rest just kind of falls into place. So I feel like I created a problem for the area and a solution there. So that's all I got.
Thank you. So we're going to move right into the small breakout rooms. There'll be 5 breakout rooms. Each one of our GSRs will be facilitating each breakout room with specific topics that you'll be going over. So I'm going to let this create itself automatically. So you're going to end up wherever you end up.